And welcome back to day 2 of the 2016 Cotsen Tournament. I'm Chris Garlock.
Andrew Jackson joining you here.
We probably look. Do we look the way we feel?
I don't know. It's Sunday morning, so
we're here.
Excited.
We're here. We're vertical.
More importantly, we're excited about the games coming up because we have round 4, round 5. We're going to see if Mark Lee can repeat his command performance.
My money's on Mark. Did you see his games yesterday? I mean, one went what, 88
moves knockout. We did a review of that one, actually. You can check it out. Yang walked us through the fight. It was pretty great to see.
You love playing that move,
didn't you?
Oh, it was
great. It was right in the middle of the space. But, actually, it's interesting because I love playing that move. But Yang was like, it's not necessarily dead yet.
You looked a little disappointed after that because you were like, that's a killing move. All right, let's break it down because we have 3 folks that are in competition.
3 folks who are undefeated so far. That's right. We've got Mark Lee is actually currently maybe seeded is the wrong word, but going into today, he's actually second place on tiebreaks because who's number 1 right now is this guy named Chipeng Luo, who is,
no background on him.
He did beat Aaron Ye yesterday,
yes,
and it seemed to be a fairly convincing, I know he picked up at least 3 or 4 points in the end game.
Yeah.
And it was just, they were going at it there. It was pretty great. So he's currently number 1 right now because all of his opponents who he defeated also have 2 wins.
That's right.
Who Mark Lee beat in the first round only has 1 win, so Mark only has 5 tiebreak points on that one.
The thing to remember about Mark is that he is a defending champion.
That's right.
So he's been the rodeo before.
In this case, it does seem like he's he's very humble about it though because I asked him. I said,
humble.
So Mark, are you going to win all your games this year? And he says, oh, I don't know. Very humble. I don't know about that. I'm like, oh, really? So who's going to beat you? And he said, I don't know. It was great because he was clearly hard-pressed to actually identify any potential challengers. But this guy, Chipeng Luo, who we don't know anything about him, could be the guy to do it. And then, of course, our third winner is Andrew Liu, who has just shown a very strong year this year.
He was looking so calm. I was watching his play. I mean, he used to be kind of a little emotional. I mean, but just kind of.
He seems to have settled down as he's gotten older.
I love watching these kids. I mean, we've been seeing these kids, from when they were little, and now to see them growing into these really self-possessed young men
who are also 7-dan and incredibly strong, right? Like it's very nice to see both of those progressions, both the strength progression and also watch them sort of. Aaron Ye, for his part, is like a foot taller than when I saw him last. I don't know how that happened.
I have a funny story about Aaron. So we're setting up, for the e-journal broadcast, right? And we set up our laptops and all that kind of stuff. And I think this might have been on board 1 the last round, Aaron. So we got everything all set up, and Richard Dolan's about to sit down, and we noticed the clock isn't set. The 2 players are sitting there. And I said, your clock isn't set, and Aaron just looks at me.
like what?
And Jan Boley had to come over and the tournament director and set the clock.
Oh man!
I learned this lesson years ago, right? Yeah. We as recorders, we don't touch the clocks.
Don't say anything. That's right.
But we don't touch the clocks, and the reason is because if you touch the clock and something goes wrong, and anybody out there who's ever played with these clocks. Most of the time they work brilliantly, but every once in a while, then they go haywire.
It's hilarious.
And what you don't want is to be in a top-board situation with a clock that the batteries have failed or whatever, and they're just looking at you. You set that up.
And you're like, yeah, don't touch the clocks for sure. Well, so it was very funny because it showed that they had. We were recording that game.
Yes, we were. Thank you for tag teaming on that. That was kind of fun, though, wasn't it?
It was fun. It was fun. They played very quickly.
I saw you at the end. That ended. I was going to sub in for you, and I was like, nope. Andrew's got this.
But the funny thing was that his clock was showing over 40 minutes. And I was like, how
they've been playing for 10 minutes or something, right?
They've been playing for like 10 minutes, and it showed over 40 minutes. And my understanding was that there's only 40 minutes of time. So I was like, how do they have more time than is allowed?
It's not a Fisher time clock.
Oh, man. So, but then you told me it was the tournament director himself who set that clock. So I figured, all right, well, it must be
because TDs are always right.
So anyway, going into round 4, we have Mark Lee. He's going to be matched up against either Chipeng Luo or Andrew Liu. But either way, it's only possible that we're going to have one person who's still undefeated. We're going to have at most 2 4-0 people after this next round.
That'd be really cool. Going to round 5, that would make for a great round 5.
That would be pretty fantastic. Cool. So fingers crossed that's what we end up with. It's still, of course, a very strong field. You have Duc Jechang, who's just below. Danny Ko, and Kai Naoyuki both played Mark Lee yesterday, so they're probably not in the hunt still. And then below that, we've got a lot of folks who have their losses to the top 3, which makes it most likely that those are going to be the folks going in.
So just before we wrap up, we're really hoping that folks enjoy this. This is, as longtime viewers will know, that we're trying a little bit of a different thing, a little more of a sports centers kind of thing. One of the things that's made clear to me, we need to do more of our homework on the players. There's a couple of players here.
We should know some more about them.
We really should. I mean, Danny Coe, of course, has been here, I think, pretty much every year. I know Danny well. But a couple of these other players, I literally, and LA is kind of like that. People kind of pop up
out of nowhere, and you try to say, where'd they come from? And they're like, oh, I was a 1 pro. And you're like, all right. Wish we'd known about that. The other thing that's going on is there's a lot happening at the Cotsen this year that it's hard for us to cover. We're trying to get as much of it as we can, and there's stuff that we can't be in all these places at once. There's no substitute for being here yourself. This morning, Yang Yilun played his annual match against a friend of his in China who's a 9 pro. That was on KGS. Game. He's giving commentary on that right now.
We're going to get him down here in the hot seat.
To get some highlights on that for us.
For you guys.
Other things that happened this year, Mr. Yang also gives out his puzzles, which is what we have on the background behind us.
I was wondering if you were going to get to those.
I figured we should mention them at least. They're all black to play, and this sheet is the 5Q to 2 Dan section. So we'll give the answers out maybe later. Maybe we don't give them out.
We better start working on them now, dude.
Dude, what were you doing last night?
I was drinking. I was eating. I actually played a couple of Simul games because we don't get to play.
You got to play a Simul game.
I got to play 2 games with my good friends Phil Strauss and Mike Kyriakakis. You were working, uploading the video, so props to you. You were just working hard.
Well, I don't know if I was working that hard. I did also go out to eat as well with the lovely assistants here at the...
That's nice. That's a good dinner. To the commissary.
That's right, the
commissary. Very well-known place here in town. I hear the food was passable.
Oh, it was. The conversation also passable. It was fantastic, actually. Good company, good people. Anyway, we're rambling.
We're rambling here. We're going to wrap it up.
So stay tuned. We'll have the round 4 results. We'll have commentary from Mr. Yang.
Mr. Yang. And Jenny Shen is going to join us.
Jenny Shen will be joining us this afternoon as well. So
don't touch that dial.
See you around.